Hey, hi Tiger. Welcome to Performance Seminar.
Hi, Dr. Bell.
How's it going
Uh,
so far?
uh, I gotta make a few adjustments. I just moved like 2 days ago.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully everything went okay so far. You still
Yeah, it's
got
going fine.
okay. Yeah, I know that's a lot. At least you did it before school starts and all that. Um, okay. So I see that I had checked the here we go. Here's Christine. I had checked the program for this seminar like an hour ago and it was just you, but then I saw Christine had just signed up.
Oh,
Right, so welcome. Let me check that our live stream is going. Yes. Okay, excellent. Hey, welcome, Christine.
Hello.
So our live stream is going here. We've got Tiger and Christine.
might have to find something a bit lower because I used to have a stand to put my camera on,
Oh,
but
that's
I
okay.
don't know where it is. I just moved.
Yeah, that's all right. We can it's okay if you want to just sit it right there.
Mm.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see. So Christine, would you like to start us out?
Oh, okay.
And just as a reminder, remember, so both of you just check that your original sound is on so that your piano doesn't get filtered out.
It's on.
Um, and then what was I gonna say? And then when you're ready to play, be sure to tell us the name of your piece and the composer. And if you're I don't Tiger, are you playing all of your piece?
Uh,
Or are
I'm
you
I'm only playing the first part,
okay.
like the whole piece, but just opus number one.
Oh, so you're playing the whole okay, you're playing the whole piece though. Okay, gotcha. Um yeah, the nocturnes are separate pieces. I know it's weird. So it'll just be Opus 48 is just a set of different nocturnes. So number one is a complete piece. Okay, so Christine, are you ready to start us out?
Um, okay.
What will you be playing for us?
A Winter Tale?
Okay, by
I don't remember the name.
it's by Bartok.
Bartok?
Yes, who is from?
I don't know.
You remember where he's from? Or I don't know. I'm curious. What is it? What does the music sound like to you? Where does it sound like
Um,
Bartok's from?
um, like a slow walk through um a snowing path or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I mean, so what? So Bartok is known for developing a style that is referencing folk music from particular areas.
Oh,
Where I mean, I'm just curious if you had to guess, where do
oh,
you think Bartok is from?
I don't know.
So Bartok is from or was from Hungary, but he traveled a lot in neighboring like Romania. He went around in
Oh,
Romania,
yeah.
in the Balkans, kind of studying folk music as part of his thing. Anyway, so he's got a lot of pieces that are a little more hardcore than this one that are based on either like Balkan folk music, Bulgarian folk music, Romanian, or of course Hungary. Yeah, so he has several interesting style references to those areas. Anyway, all right. So whenever you're ready, if you want to play the piece.
Okay. Hold up. Okay.
Okay. Nicely done, Christine.
Thank you.
All right, great work there. So a lot of nice things. What were you happy with in that performance?
I usually play things like super fast and fast and I rush through it. So I'm kind of happy with like the pace I played
Oh
at.
yeah. Yeah, that was okay. The pace was great. I agree. Yeah, so I did not feel rushed at all. Most of the rhythms felt like we were really maintaining a steady pulse there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Anything else?
No, not really. I don't play
Well, so
too much
if your main concern was not rushing because you're nervous, I thought that was definitely a success. Um,
because it just got booked like 10 minutes
yeah,
ago.
I noticed you just got
Yeah.
at it. I was just telling Tyler. Um, the one exception here is at the end, which was everything was great. I know you were probably thinking about that you were almost to the end. Is this one measure after you hit that
Did I
quarter
even
note,
wait long
right?
enough?
We kind of came in with that a little bit, like maybe one count. Now keep in mind that you're gonna naturally be easing up in the pulse a little bit, although you don't have to, right?
Yeah, I haven't played this piece in like a couple of
Okay.
weeks.
Oh, it's sounding good. Right, so da, 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 one, one, two, one, two, one. Or I lift up my hand. One, two, one, two, one. Right, so just a little, an extra, an extra two counts of waiting after you play that that last A there. So two, one, two, and then the left hand can go. But I know that's a tendency when when we're getting near the end and you're like, okay, I'm almost there. Okay. Um, yeah. So what did you feel was challenging about learning this piece?
Um, my sister's yapping in the back. Um, the hardest part of learning the piece, um, getting the motivation to play it.
Okay. Well, what were you trying to connect with? I mean, I don't know. Did you have trouble connecting with this piece stylistically?
Yeah,
I mean, I've played, you know.
because I usually listen to like a lot of pop songs, like
Yeah.
UK stuff,
Oh, okay. Oh, I mean, this might not be.
or like Studio Ghibli style music and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, this is a little sparse, I guess, compared to that. Um, did you did you reach a point where you had kind of a turning point with something clicked, or you're just like kind of like meh, you're
Did
still a
not like
little
this piece at all.
meh. There wasn't a clicking point with this.
Yeah, I was like practically beefing with this piece. I did not like this piece.
Oh no. Well, okay, so what were you beefing with?
Everything.
Um, well, so I mean, when you say so, there's a difference, I guess, between not being
I just don't have the
like
motivation to play.
not vibing with it, or but when you say beefing with it, that means there's something specific that you did not
I
that was
just
clashing with you.
not like the piece at all.
Well, what did we not like about it? Was there like a particular thing that was like hard?
I'm like
Or
my sister. My sister's trying to beef with my dad right now.
okay.
Oh, I don't. I'm not like giving any hate to the creator of this, but like I just don't like the style of the
Oh,
music.
there's plenty of people I'm sure who do not care for
Yeah.
some of our talks. This is good. So if I guess so the way in, maybe something to think about is, and so especially if you're thinking, if you're somebody who naturally gravitates towards um maybe music that's more vocal, like you were saying, K-pop or something. Um, something to notice in this piece, and we may talk about this with Tiger's piece in a minute. Um, but so one thing that's fairly difficult to play on the piano is certain kinds of articulations, especially so slurs are especially a little bit tricky on the piano because the piano can't actually play slurs, right? So have you played another instrument, Christine?
I mean, I played ukulele for like a bit for fourth grade, but that's
Okay.
that.
Well, I mean, so you know, even if you can sort of experience playing something really basic on another instrument, so ukulele would work for this. Um, Other instruments that are not keyboard, right? So if you think on the ukulele, you've got strings, and
Hmm.
you can slide, right? You can slide your
Yes, like note changes,
the
like
note
smooth
will
note
slide,
changes.
right? Or you can even, right, if you've got your finger on one fret, you can pluck the string, and while it's still sounding, then you can move your, you know, put another finger on another fret and change the sound with, right, while the string is still going, you can just put your finger on the fret and the pitch will change, right?
Hmm.
Or can you, sorry, I know it's hard to envision what I'm talking about. Um, Same thing with if it's a wind instrument, you know, woodwind or brass,
Yeah, my sister used to play flute.
right? So flute, right? You or any, I mean, any wind instrument, you can keep blowing, right? You can keep the airstream going and just change your fingers, and that then the pitch will just change really smoothly without, right? You're not, you know, you're not re-articulating anything. You're not like retonguing the note. You can just keep a steady stream of air and just change your fingers, and that creates, right, that creates a legato sound, right? So my point though is that the piano can't actually do that, right? Because we have separate, well, and if you're on an electronic piano, right, you've got um, separate electronic sounds that are activated by each key, right? And even if you're on a real piano, right, you've got all, there are separate strings for each key, right? So the piano really can't do, right? You can't do the thing where you keep the same string vibrating and you just change the note as the string is still going, right? So piano is always,
Like
you're
a bunch of separate notes.
you're going to always have to activate a separate string if you're having separate notes, right? Um, so even, and you might think so, like even when you use the pedal, that does not make things legato. That makes all the, right, that makes all the strings be activated, so you're still like, you're still pinpoint. So to get back to the piece, I promise this has to do with this, right? Notice that we have all of these slurs in here, right? So um you really have to work with a piano to almost like fake, like piano, we can't do an actual legato like a wind instrument or a string instrument, right? But we have to, so you have to fake it, right? And the way you fake it is you wait until, I mean, there's a couple ways to do it, right? So ideally you're gonna wait for the sound, and I'm just gonna use this first interval as an example. You're gonna wait for the sound of that A. There's gonna be a tiny moment of overlap. So you're gonna leave your thumb down and until you actually activate and play that E and then lift up your thumb. Does that make sense? So that way there's a little, you're creating an overlap in the sound of the two
Oh wait,
notes.
like the one part in How I Was Moving in like Merry-Go-Round of Life, like the, right? The
Uh
or like the
well, so yeah, there's, I mean, there's slurs all over the place, right? You can leave, so it's not a huge, like you're not just going to leave the A down the whole time, but you can leave it so it bleeds into that E a tiny bit. So you're right, we're tricking the listener and we're here, oh, those are two connected sounds. So you have to work harder at the piano to imitate a slur to imitate legato with your fingers. Now
Like
the other thing, oh yeah,
a wave.
yeah. So yeah, the other thing is that the motion that might help you is sometimes if you have a maybe a 2-note slur or a 3-note slur, a true like slur, you can think of dipping your hand down in at the beginning of the slur, and then when you play the note at the end of the slur, you lift up so that we actually get a tiny break in the sound to kind of emphasize that that's where the connectedness ends, right? So instead of I'm playing it just one note at a time. You can hear my piano, okay, can you?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was without anything, right? So if you just play it kind of nondescript, like a normal articulation, right? I'm lifting each finger up as I play the next note, right? So here's with the slurs. Right. So you can kind of, I know that it's subtle,
So like
but you can definitely trick people into hearing a little bit of a legato with a lot of those slurs, right? Doing those two things, right? So making sure you actually hold down each finger a little bit so the sound overlaps into the next note. And what helps is really that, like you talked about, right? A wave like motion of the notes in the slur. You sink down at the beginning and you lift after the last note. So there's a little bit of a break. Does that make sense?
yeah.
So all that is to say, we got to move on to Tyler. But one of the ways into this piece, I think, is because there are so many, right? There's a lot of slurs going on, right? It's not just like all a slur. There's a lot of little slurs and lifts going on, which gives this, if you do all those, it gives it a very vocal quality. Like there are either words going on or something that's causing these different groups to be slurred together. So I think the way in is to really focus on trying to bring out all of these little slurs as much as possible. That'll give it much more of a vocal quality, a vocal kind of tone and contrast between the hands too. So I think that's if you were feeling bored or like you couldn't get into the piece, I think maybe so that might be one way in, right? Really focus on making it seem more vocal with the slurs. And that also gives you something I wrote to kind of work. It's pretty challenging. So it gives you something to work on and get towards with even in both hands too. But yeah, I thought that was nice, great job with that, Christine. No rushing, and you had all the notes in there. So nice work. All right, let's go on to Tiger. Hey, Tiger. Okay, so Tiger, you set up a little bit? Yeah, this angle's fine.
Yeah, it's an iPad. The stand doesn't really go like
Oh no.
really far down.
Okay, well we will. You don't have to. It's okay. And what will you be playing for us today?
Uh, Chopin's Nocturne, Opus 48, number 1.
Okay, and C minor. And is this, you got the music? Okay, I was just making sure we can.
Am I supposed to have music today?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you, are you playing it memorized or are you just doing it with music right now?
I
Oh, we don't have to play it for you. All right. So whenever you're ready, go for it. Okay, nicely done, Tiger.
Uh, I
Yeah,
I didn't play for a month because I went to my hometown and I don't have a piano over there.
you did what? Oh, you didn't play it memorized, you're
Yeah.
saying, or what?
I couldn't play piano the past month because I was like I went back to my hometown. I don't have a piano there.
Oh, wow. Okay. So when did you just get back
Yeah,
not too long ago?
2 days ago.
Oh, okay. So you rehashed this in 2 days. So yeah, that's sounding great. Um, okay, yeah. So this is a big piece. So nicely done. I think you had a good sense of the shape of the trajectory of the piece. So in terms of just the dynamic levels and generally the tempo. What do you feel like went well with this?
Um, I I think I got like I had okay finger placement and most I think I got the tonality for like some parts pretty decent, I guess. But I kind of forgot the left hand notes for a few bars in the first page.
In the
So
first page? Okay.
yeah, I missed like one or two notes.
So you jumped back in there, so it seemed good. Oh yeah, the probably the 16th notes and then the little things like that. Well, but that's I no, that's not a big deal as long as you're able to jump back on the right. So it did not derail the train. Your left hand just got right back in it and you kind of made something up or skipped it. So that in itself is a good performance skill to be practicing, right? If something gets forgotten, it don't let it derail everything
Yeah,
else. Just fake it
I
and
was
keep
kind of
going.
panicking at the end. I was playing a bit too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I know this is ridiculous, so it's um hard to not get too fast. So that's what I was gonna say. What was the trickiest thing, besides rehashing this in 2 days or something? What was the trickiest thing you encountered while learning this piece?
Um, this the first would probably be like the second page, like
Mhm.
the dynamics for like the slow part,
Mm.
and also like in the last two pages, there's like quite a bit of jumps, and
Mm.
I don't really have the biggest hands, so it's kind of hard to like reach in time and still play with like the right tone.
Oh yeah, so you mean in this very
Like
last page? Oh yeah,
like
this yeah. Mhm. Yeah. And yeah, to keep things in perspective, I don't want to get into all that, but the Chopin's pianos, that era, the keys were a little bit smaller as well. So
yeah,
Chopin and Liszt, the keys, you at least in the 1830s and 40s, the keys were a little bit narrower. So don't ever if you ever look at any of these pieces and you're like, how did they,
yeah,
not just that they had a big span in their hands, it's that some of those pianos were a little bit more scrunched. Anyway, but that was sounding great. I was my only comment, because we don't have too much time here.
yeah,
As you're working out this piece, right? Um, you got I think you got a good idea of the contour of the piece, right? So this is like of most of Chopin's nocturnes, most nocturnes. Um, this is just a really, I don't want to say straightforward, but it's a very clear cut um
yeah,
ternary piece. So like it's a character piece. You can tell, right? And this has all the um characteristics that we usually see, right? So you have two basically you have two big outer parts with a similar theme, right? So basically the beginning comes back in the end section, right? So you repeat the first section thematically, at least. And then you have a middle section. It's not right, it's not like a development or anything. It's just a different kind of contained section in the middle that is a contrasting mood, right? Um so this is a pretty typical, you see this in a lot of romantic character pieces, not just nocturnes, but a lot of these different names of pieces. So the reason I say all that, when you were talking about, right, the dynamics. So what do we got, right? So the first section, you've got your melody. It says mezza voce, which is that's like you see that in like opera and stuff. Mezza di voce. Then in the, like you said, in the middle section, right, where we get a contrast in contrast in mode, not in, we're still in C. It just changes to a major mode. Then it says sotto voce, even though you've got the giant chords, it's sotto voce, sempre piano.
Mm.
And then then it gets worked up. That's fine. And then of course in our final section, pianissimo but agitato. However you want to handle it. Doppio, and also doppio movement. So this is the first thing I was gonna draw your attention to. So I thought that the tempo in the final section was generally good. I know you said you're nervous and pushing a little bit, but it was fine. So right. So if that's your speed at the end, right, whatever it is. Right, that's fine. You don't have to be any faster than that. So if that's your tempo, that beginning, so doppio movimento means twice as fast. That means, so practice that ending section the way you want it to be, and then reverse engineer what your starting tempo has to be. So if this is the quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the end, that means this has to be the 8th note at the beginning. Bum, bum, bum. Now, you don't have to do it exactly, but roughly, right? So I think you could start the beginning a little bit slower and think about a little more drama.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have enough space on my tiny keyboard to do this. Can you just try that opening? Oh, wait, no, it's time to go. Sorry. But anyway, so Tyler, that was nice work on that piece. So just the main takeaway is reverse engineer your beginning tempo, knowing that final section is double the speed.
Yeah.
Momentum, right? And then also gauge your dynamics. So if the beginning of that middle section is supposed to be sotto voce, the softest dynamic, then gauge the beginning as the beginning can be a little bit have a little bit more oomph even though it's soft. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, but the overall performance was great. Just something to think about as you kind of refine it and dial in the different levels of each section. All right, great job, y'all. I will see you later. Thanks so much.
Thank you.